Hello, guys. Welcome to Investing with JYK, and today is on China again. I've been here for about 2 years, 3 years now. 3 years, yeah. Actually, 2.5. So, some observations. Uh, there are some redeeming features of China. For example, well, in terms of investment returns, not for living here, because you are the cost of that redeeming feature, probably. The longer working hours is definitely a thing. So if you look at this, average Chinese person works 46 hours a week. And yeah, every day 9.2. So that's good for returns. And well, that's actually a bad thing. But anyway, so that's one thing. And obedient population, obviously, there's less friction. When things are decided, there's less friction. That's arguably a good thing, sometimes not. It has a large unified market, unlike India, where people still speak different languages and have, from what I heard, mobile networks that don't fully interoperate with each other. So a unified market increases efficiency. That's good for capital returns. Okay, so on the things that I don't like about this place, the first point is outsourcing, and that's not applicable probably for everything, but in the tech industry, that's definitely something that I see. In Alibaba, for example, designers would make PowerPoint slides and then outsource the aesthetics to external outsourcing companies. Sounds crazy, right? And from what I heard from people that actually work in Alibaba, she works in I think she works in like land investment, property investment. It's I would say a peripheral business in Alibaba. The supporting engineering team consists of about 10 engineers, and things basically don't and never worked as expected. And their budget is about five, probably around $5 million a year. And you ask me, how does dozen engineers consume $5 million in China? Well, they don't. They have a few dozen large outsourced engineering team working for them. So that's that. And as a result, there are millions of architects, probably not millions because there aren't that many of these people, but there are lots of architects that don't actually code. Well, this is probably not, well, yeah, this code, if you do know Java, you would immediately see a problem here. Concurrent hash map with, what is this? Non-atomic operations? Then what the hell is the point of a concurrent hash map? So that's apparently, but obviously there's another issue here. Monitor key equals and hash code override anybody, right? So these are all just pretty, like, if you have worked for more than 5 years and you make this kind of mistake, I'll fire you. And they are paid quite generously in a lot of companies. Okay, and then in the end, their decisions was that, well, since it's broken, the decision was to have synchronized keywords around it. Then what the hell is the point of a concurrent hash map again? Like, what the the point is supposed to be a lock-free implementation, and then you put a lock on it. Then just put a normal hash map. Like, anyways, drives me crazy. So that's that. So the supposedly experienced engineers here mostly don't code; they write PowerPoint slides. I have interviewed quite a few of these as well. Very disappointing, right? I mean, I don't know. In my eyes, you're supposed to. You don't have to be able to write all the code because that's what a engineer is for. But you should be able to. When you try, you should be able to do it, right? So otherwise, you're just drawing boxes, and yeah, it's stupid. Second thing is debt. The place is now very heavily indebted. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it's not. Now it is. Debt growth obviously fuels GDP growth, but the incremental effect is now diminishing. Also, a lot of people in their 20s are very heavily in debt because they earn very little. You might get an impression that lots of rich Chinese do rich people things, but the reality is median income in China. This is median income in China, okay? Beijing, $1,000. Shanghai, about 1,000. Then Hangzhou is where I am. I don't know what this is, but probably something like 5.6. And if you go down Shenzhen, where you have apartments that goes to 10 million yuan, so $1.5 million ish, or $1 to $2, let's say $1 to $2 million. Their median income is $800 or less. Okay, so these guys don't make much money, but they consume a lot now. So they are all in debt. And debt goes up once, and when it has to go down, you have to pay the deleveraging cost. So that's bad. Demographics. Well, birth rate in China is 1.3. So if it continues like this, Chinese population will shrink. It probably already has. I think there were a lot of shenanigans in the last census, which shows a slight increase of population. But I don't trust the number. So Chinese population is probably already has started going down. And 1.3, that's the same level as say Japan or something, or Singapore, something like that. And there aren't that many immigrants into China, right? And and then also China is still very poor, so it's a poor country that isn't having babies. And if you go to, let's go back to that chart. Median income in Chongqing, which is one of the special districts, is 4,000 yuan. 4,000 yuan will buy you in China about 100 cups of Starbucks. Okay, so that's all your monthly. Well, more than 50% of the population can afford less than 100 cups of Starbucks a month. Everything. So, yeah, it's not a rich country. But it's no longer having babies. So that will be a huge thing because then you have a shrinking demand, you have less labor, and just bad all over. Okay, next thing is separation from the rest of the world because everybody's now hating China. Unlike, say, between 2000 and 2008, where people start the sentiment towards China was actually improving. Now it's just getting destroyed because, well, mostly due to China's own fault. What do they call it? What do they call this? 战狼外交, right? What is it called? What is it? Yeah, wolf warrior diplomacy. Just basically, it's just being hardline on everything and bully, basically being a bully. And nobody likes a bully, so everybody hates you. And that's bad. And the next one is delusional population. Most of the people in China don't really know what's going on. Their information intake is limited. Yeah. They don't really understand why things are the way they are, especially why suddenly the world seems to be against China. And they think it's because of some conspiracy between all the major powers in the world, and suddenly they all are behind this unified front that is going to take China down. And yeah, well, if you bully everybody, then somebody's gonna slap you in the face. Well, the next thing is the Chinese leader, and then we have nationalism going a bit out of control. Well, quite out of control. Seems like 1930s Japan / Germany now. It's yeah. It's not a good picture. And also we now have the separation from the rest of the world also takes in the form of the separation in the capital markets. One of the evidence you have seen in DD and yeah, so a lot of DD is apparently ruffled some wrong feathers and yeah, it's getting punished for that. So the only I'm not particularly bullish on any Chinese tech companies at the moment, since the government is now starting to view them as threat rather than tools. The probably only exception is ByteDance, which has not yet gone public, but they are a more Western company. They're working. Their culture is more like Silicon Valley, where I can see that from the way they choose their tech stack. Most of their tech stacks seem to be fairly advanced, and they hire. Well, we lose a lot of candidates to them. We rarely lose candidates against, say, Alibaba. And I haven't ever interviewed a single Alibaba candidate that seemed competent in terms of engineers. Maybe I'm just getting the people that's winnowed out of the thing because they have a 10% hard curve. The bottom 10% will lose their job every year. So yeah. So that's that. You may ask me why I'm still here. Well, sunk cost is one thing, and I also like the people that I work with. There might still be some time left between the whole thing going to shit and now. So it's a race against time. I think that's it. Interpret it whatever way you want. Goodbye.